All right, welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Dollar Bin Digging. This is the article and video that I do for comicbookinvest.com, where I talk about those books that might still be tucked away in those boxes at your LCS, in the cheap boxes, the dollar bins, those boxes you might find at a flea market, a yard sale, garage sale, half-price books, wherever you do your cheap comic book hunting. These are some books that might still be tucked away in those boxes based on some of the more recent news, speculation, rumors, announcements, trailers, things coming to the comics, anything I can think of that might tie into some stuff that we have upcoming that I think is worth looking for in kind of a scavenger hunt kind of style. I mean, not everything's going to be like a huge find or a huge key, but some of these books are just kind of fun to dig out, either for the read, the cover art, or the possibilities of what they could be in the future. Hopefully you like that. Let me know in the comments what you think. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss any of the content here on the channel. If you haven't noticed, this is the third show this week where I decided to wear the shirt of the show that I'm doing just for kind of fun. So check out the merch links below if you are interested at all. If you're doing TeePublic, I'd recommend waiting for their sales. They usually have a sale every couple of weeks where the t-shirt's only like 13, 14 bucks. And that's usually when I do my shopping. So just wait for those sales. But that all aside, if you want to see what books I'm talking about this week, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro and I will be right back. Okay, so as we've been doing more of the recent videos here, we're going to be looking at some of the stuff that's mostly Marvel and DC, maybe a little bit indie mixed in as well. But this is all stuff that's based on rumors, speculations, some first appearances, some announcements, some things we know we have coming down the pike, or some things that are just pure speculation. And just some fun books you still might be able to dig out of those cheap boxes. Now, let's see. With our first item. Our first item is based off of these rumors that I've been reading about, that the possibility that Moon Knight's, this is latest episode, was actually episode 3, but there's still a little bit of ties you can probably make in episode 4 as well, that there might be a connection to Kang. Whether you know this or not, Kang did first show up as Rama-Tut, I guess, in Fantastic Four, and then was retconned to be Kang. Whole long convoluted story if you know your Kang history. A lot of possibilities there. And we know Kang is going to be a big bad going forward. So they're pointing again to the jacket that this younger thug, I guess, was attacking Mark Spector there when he was over there in Egypt. So this was in episode 3 that we got this kind of tie. So who knows if that's going to be more than just a nice little Easter egg or something that's actually going to be something more involved. Personally, I thought that's whose sarcophagus it was going to be, not Alexander the Great. I thought they were going to say it's Rama-Tut's, and then I thought that would have been a good connection to Kang there. But as I said, Fantastic Four number 19, you're not finding this in a dollar bin. This is a classic book, old book, very pricey. So you're not getting the first Rama-Tut in any cheap box. So where can you go from there if you can't find the first appearance? Well, then you want to look at some other stories that I think are interesting. And one of those is actually a mutant story to tie in with the X-Men. Because who knows? We may get the X-Men eventually. I mean, we know we're going to get the X-Men eventually. But who knows how we might get those ties and the tie-ins to mutants. So check out this Rise of Apocalypse miniseries. There's 4 issues, came out in 1996. I was always a big fan of Apocalypse, so I always look for this miniseries when I'm digging in those boxes. It's kind of fun. And this is, again, in Saba Noor, if I'm saying his name properly, in Egypt. You know, the first mutant, technically, I think, is how they kind of portray Apocalypse chronologically, not in publication, because I think Namor would have been the first in publication. But that all said, going back to Egypt, you get that nice little tie, potentially with, there on the back cover of that first issue, Rama-Tut, as he plays a role throughout this miniseries with the mutants. I don't know if they're ever going to anything will ever come of this, but these books are so cheap, it's just worth grabbing even just for the read. You never know. So what does this actually do? Well, if you look at what's recently sold, yeah, for whatever reason, only $8.50 and $12. I was going to say for whatever reason that single issue was $12, but it's not. That's actually all 4 issues as well. So the 4-issue mini, you can see the recent sales are $8.50 at auction or $12. Not expensive at all, even online. And if you look, there's a single issue, $1.90 for issue just number 1, or you can buy the whole 4-issue miniseries for $9 online. But as I said, you can find these in dollar bins. You can dig these things out. So yes, you can buy them online if that's what you wish, or you can just go dig in those cheap boxes and spend maybe $4 if you can find all four. That's more what I would recommend doing personally, because it's just kind of fun. Like I said, even just for the read, pretty cool art. I just say keep an eye out for this one if you're out there digging. Now, the other one that might be more valuable if you can dig this out of a box is going to be this connection that I'm making with the Avengers series from 2017. Yes, we all know that Avengers 2, that awesome Alex Ross cover with the Kang face, like that one got hot all of a sudden way back in the day. I remember I put that on Dollar Bin Digging here months and months ago. And say if you picked that up, you would have made yourself a few bucks. But even now, issue 4 of that same run is another one you want to keep an eye out for, because again, that's the first story arc ties in with Kang. It's like a Kang origin story. And in this particular issue, we get that awesome 2-page spread that I actually pulled this for the thumbnail for this video. I dig this art, this Del Mundo art inside. It's fantastic. I love the whole hieroglyphic look here. Fantastic spread inside. And again, it is a little bit of origin, a little bit of history of Rama-Tut, Kang. You get that in this issue 4. So if you can find this in a cheap box, a discount bin of some sort, a dollar bin, keep an eye out for it, because this one actually does a little better than yeah, some of the other ones. I mean, yes, $14, the most recent sale that I could find online for this single issue, $14 plus shipping, so it's closer to like $20 cost. And you can see even online, if you want to go buying this, it's $15 to $25 for a lot of the asking prices. So if you can find this for $1, this would be a nice little one to pull out for yourself. I'll be apart from, again, the cool story, awesome art inside and outside. This is one, if you can find it still for cheap, I'd keep an eye out for it. But you got a better chance of finding the Apocalypse storyline than this one in the dollar bins. But hey, you never know. I don't know what's at your shop, what you might find out your way. They're all different. So I'm just going to give you some options and some suggestions, and you have fun going and digging and looking for this stuff. Now, moving on from Marvel, we're going to shift on over to DC real quick, because I like to hop back and forth, mix things up, try to hit everybody, because not everybody's a Marvel collector. Not everybody's just a DC collector. Some of us collect all of it, but hey, trying to reach everybody here. Now, DC, apparently, as I mentioned on the tax show when we were doing the news that I'd get back to this, DC is giving Nightwing his own Commissioner Gordon type character. So basically, his contact within the police, somebody of his own that he can kind of work with. And that is going to be a character that actually first appeared in this book, which everybody has already purchased or been looking for because of First Bloodsport, this Superman #4. But this is not only the first appearance of this character, but it's also the first appearance of that character. What's her name? It's like Maxine. Maggie Sawyer, not Maxine, it's Maggie Sawyer. So Maggie Sawyer first appears here, and she's a character that's actually hopped around in and out of the DC side of things. She was in Metropolis, she was in Gotham, she's bounced around. Now this book, again, here I should have just went to this panel here so I could have shown it. Yeah, there's Maggie right there speaking with Superman, because at the time she first appeared, she was in the Metropolis side of things, the Metropolis Special Crimes Unit, the SCU, and even though this book is already popped because of Suicide Squad, you still might be able to dig it out because it's kind of dropped since then. So people might not be paying attention to it much anymore, or it used to be like $25, $30 book. Now it's back. You can see $7.50. April 17th was a recent sale on this online. And if you look at copies are still 10 to 20 bucks asking online if you can find it, but keep an eye out for it. You never know. And that's her first appearance. But again, outside of the first, what else could we look at for the character if you just want a little bit more story, a little bit more background? Another one, as I mentioned, she was part of the Metropolis SCU, the Special Crimes Unit. There was a 4-issue miniseries for that, that group, and that's one you might still be able to find. Like I said, she bounced around. She was in the Metropolis side of things, and she was also part of Gotham Central. Gotham Central has already gotten pricey, though, so you're probably not going to find the Gotham Central book, or at least the first issue. You might find some of the other issues because she's throughout most of that run. It's like a 30-issue-ish sort of run. She's through a lot of it. So if you find those, sure, those are good reads. You can pick them up. But that Gotham Central one's already gotten kind of expensive because of all the HBO Max rumors. So that thing's already gotten pricey. So again, probably not going to find that one in the dollar bins anymore. If you do, good on you. It's probably like 20 bucks or so at least. But you still will probably be able to find the Metropolis side of things, the Metropolis Special Crimes Unit in those cheap boxes, because those ones don't have as much demand as the Gotham ones. Now, what's sold for this? Well, recently, I couldn't find any recent sales. But asking prices, you can see issue one. It's like $5 to $7. It's just a few dollars. It's not very expensive. I think even saw the whole 4 issue run is only something like $10 to $15 too, if you can find them online. So again, not a pricey book, just something, not a pricey series, just something to keep an eye out for when you're digging in those boxes, for this 90s goodness, because that's a lot of the stuff you're going to find in those cheap boxes. If you're hitting like a flea market or whatnot, you're going to find a lot of 90s back issue stock. So there's one you can keep an eye out for if you want a little bit more of Maggie Sawyer, going forward. Now, going to hop on back to Marvel. This one is another one that's going to be tied to pure speculation. Pure speculation. I know everybody loves speculation. This one is Marvel Sleuths. I believe a character was digitally scrubbed from the Thor 4 trailer. They've done it before. A lot of things have changed or been removed from the trailers that we get initially because they don't want to spoil what's happening in the story. And a lot of people are looking at this scene because, yes, there is a lot of empty space there in that shot. It's not laid out properly if there's only two characters. So who could possibly be there in that empty spot that they digitally removed, standing next to Thor that they didn't want to spoil? Could it have been Jane Foster Thor? Maybe, but we got a shot of her later, so I don't see why they would have removed her per se. But there are any number of possibilities. Well, we're going to go with three because a lot of people have been looking forward to potentially Beta Ray Bill showing up. I don't think that's what's going to happen here, but let's just talk about it just for fun. If it is Beta Ray Bill sitting there next to him, you're not going to find Beta Ray's first appearance. But maybe you can find Stormbreaker, this saga of Beta Ray Bill, this 6-issue mini. Maybe you can find these books in your cheap boxes because you're not going to find his first appearance. First appearance is very expensive. You're not going to dig that one out anymore. But he's got a couple of minis that have come out throughout the years. And this one is one that it's kind of inconsistently priced. It could be very cheap or very expensive. As an example, what sold recently at auction, issue 1, $5.50 on 4 bids. Issue 1, over $20. The whole 6-issue set, $60. Pricing's got all over. And if you want to look at the asking prices for this one as well, issue 1, somebody's asking a solid $50 for one. Or the 6-issue mini, 60. Like many options for 60 for the whole 6-issue set. But there are some asks, even for issue 1, that are $50. There's some that are over $100 for some reason. I don't understand why anybody would pay over $100 for the one issue when you can buy the entire 6-issue set for 60. But hey, people can ask whatever they want to ask for on eBay. Point being, the asking prices right now are all pretty high, but you could still find them pretty cheap. As you can see, one ended April 20th, just yesterday, for $5.50 at auction. So there are cheap ones you can even get online, but just go check the boxes. Who knows what you might find? So that's what I would be digging out and looking for if you think that's Beta Ray Bill standing next to Thor. Now, another possibility, actually two possibilities, are these two in this first picture, but we're going to start with the one on the right. Either of these two could potentially be in there, and that's Hercules or Ares. We know we're getting some more gods in this story, so maybe we start building along that idea. Maybe start building out even towards the God Squad, which showed up in Incredible Hercules. I like Hercules to show up eventually in the MCU because I like the character, especially this particular run. I think I mentioned it before. The Incredible Hercules run is a fun read with Herc and Amadeus Cho. It's a great duo, a great team up. I enjoyed this run. It ran from 113 to about 141 throughout the series, where it replaced the Incredible Hulk after, Planet Hulk and all that stuff. And like I said, 113 was the start of it. 141 is the end of it. We get a lot of the pantheon of the gods, the Greek side of things. We also get God Squad, where we get introduced to a lot of other god-type characters, some from the Eternals, the Japanese side of things, a lot of different characters that we could see showing up in things to come, especially when we know that we are getting, we saw Zeus, right, in the trailer for Thor 4. So who knows what else we might get. I'm going to focus in just for right now. I mean, any of these are you can probably find. There's a lot of this run is in dollar bins. A lot of it is in there. So I'd recommend just picking them all up just for the read alone. And one I'm just going to focus in on is that God Squad one. I'm going to start that God Squad storyline. I think it was like 5 or 6 issues. I think it might have been 6. Started in issue 117 that ran through Secret Invasion. You can see that. Look, sold copies of 117, $2.50, $5, $3. Very cheap online. It's not an expensive book. Even the asking price is 99 cents, $3, $12. Not a pricey book. One, I still, like I said, I'd pick up for $1 because It was a fun read. This is a fun little mini. I like this storyline with the whole God Squad thing, and we'll get back to that in a little bit because it's gonna potentially tie in with some ideas, some things that are kind of kicking around, a lot of rumors and things out there. So we're gonna put a pause. We're gonna put a pin in this for the Hercules side of things, and we're gonna just shift real fast to the other person who could be standing in that empty spot. No real rumors other than possibilities. It's Ares. Again, Ares' first appearance goes way, way, way back in the old Timely books or something like that. I can't remember. It was like Daring Comics or something. It's something very expensive and very old. You're not going to find it in the dollar bin. So once again, what can you look for? You can look for this mini series. I think there was a couple. There's this mini series, and there's a 3-issue Dark Ages or something that came after this. But this 5-issue series of Ares also, I believe, has the first of his son Phobos, the god of fear. But this is a series I keep an eye out for anyway, because again, decent read, decent art, 5-issue run. You can see here it can still be found for pretty cheap. $5 for a single issue one sold yesterday, as well as you can get all 5 issues of the mini for 12. That's not an expensive mini. This is something you can find in those dollar boxes and just get them even just for the read alone. Who knows what could happen? Because again, it's not a first appearance, so even if he does show up, that doesn't mean these books will go up or anything. I'm just saying there are fun things to go and hunt, fun things to go and read. And you can look at the asking prices, $5 for that single first issue or $20 for the 5-issue mini, or kind of the asking price ranges what we're talking about here. Again, I'm focusing on these other gods because just seeing that one little bit in the trailer, we are getting, look, there's the Pantheon. There's it looks like Russell Crowe is playing Zeus, but we are getting Zeus. And you can't get even this first Zeus in Marvel Comics because that is also very, very pricey. But he shows up a lot in that Herc run I was talking about. You get a lot of backstory, a lot of origin type stuff, the ties between the characters, the ties to Hercules. Great run, great read. That's what I'm talking about. Those are still $1. You could find those and dig for cheap. But we might not see much more of Zeus because, as we know, Gore, the God Butcher, is the villain of this. So we've already seen the ties of, to the comics there of things that Gore is going to take down some of these gods. So one might expect that he could be the one to take out Zeus. Now, in the comics, that's not how it played out. Zeus has been killed in the comics. I believe he's been killed twice, but in the comics, the 2 times that I remember them being killed is by this Japanese god of fear, god of chaos, Mikaboshi. I don't know if I'm saying the name properly, but this Japanese god of chaos and fear is the one that's actually taken down Zeus in the comic books. So maybe they're just going to swap out that for Gore, and it'll be Gore that is the one that actually takes down Zeus in the MCU. I mean, it's a thing they've done before. It's an easy swap. It's not anything that I don't think needs to be completely 100% tied to the comics. They can do whatever they like in the MCU. It's kind of its own thing at this point, really. They take the ideas that they like, they run with them. But if you do want to find the stuff that ties back to the comics, well, here are your things you can go looking for. The first time I could remember seeing that that Japanese god had killed Zeus was in the final issue of that Ares run that I just mentioned. Issue 5 of Ares is the one where, again, the first time Zeus was taken down by this god of fear, this god of chaos. You can see right there, right through the heart, ripped his heart out. Down goes Zeus. This book on its own, again, isn't. I couldn't even find one on its own. I can only find the runs, and you can see again the 5-issue minis, $13. It's $6 for the whole 5-issue run. That's like $1 a piece, even online. Super cheap. So something I would say you can get super cheap, and even asking prices on its own, $2, and then issues 1 through 5 a complete set again, $4.99, $1 each. It's a cheap set, cheap read. You can find these out there. So I'd recommend getting them, just reading them, even just for fun. Another read and mini you can find out there just for fun, I would also recommend getting is the Chaos War, which kind of follows up on this God Squad thing. So again, we're kind of tying back to those other books I was just talking about, the God Squad, but in particular in the second issue of this mini series, that's when Zeus dies again at the hands of that Japanese god of chaos and fear, the villain of this series, of this Chaos War run. You can see here, this is where, once again, now for this, even the second time, he's even saying it. The second time he's killing Zeus right there. And then you get that nice, splash at the end, die by the Chaos King, and then, Ares and obviously Hercules have to look on as their dad is taken down. So there down goes Zeus yet again for the second time in this second issue. But again, the whole run is not expensive. That single issue back in February, it sold for $4, but you can get all 5 issues of the miniseries for $10. You can see that's a recent sale price. Asking prices are $3 for the single issue, that issue 2, if that's the one you want, because that's where Zeus dies, or $13 for the whole run. But again, I've seen these in dollar bins. I picked these up out of dollar bins. These are in dollar bins, so get the whole issue, 5 issue run for $5 if you can. That's what I'd recommend doing because it's worth it. It's worth the read. It's worth the read. But who knows what we're going to get? All I know is we've seen that we're getting Zeus. We know that there is a god killer character being introduced there. And there are also other rumors we might see him show up even before then. Whether it be, I don't think it's going to be Doctor Strange, but we don't know what's going to happen in the last 2 episodes of Moon Knight. Would it be so surprising if Gore the God Butcher didn't kill some of these extra Egyptian gods just to kind of tie things in? Maybe an after credit scene, maybe something, maybe a hint that he does it. Who knows? All we know is there's a god killer out there, so why not start with these Egyptian gods, move on to the Greek side of things, then you got the Norse gods. A lot of possibilities and potentials out there for what we might see going forward. That's all I'm saying, but a lot of this stuff is just kind of fun to read, and like I said, the God Squad stuff and this Chaos War was a decent read, so I'd say check it out. The Greg Pak stuff was a nice little run for Hercules and Amadeus, so like I said, I was a fan. I'd say read it. Check it out. Moving on. We're going to hop on back over to DC. Now, this initial article was a couple of weeks ago, but it's still kind of tying into something that's coming up very soon. And this is Robin's Deadly Cousins going to make her return in this Shadow War storyline that we have coming. The Shadow War Zone thing that is coming, I think, in May. I think that's when I saw that this might be released. I like this John Boy Myers cover too, by the way. But this is an upcoming storyline of things we have to come. And there's a whole bit of teases with Deathstroke and the Batman characters. A lot of things are going to be playing out in this Shadow War. So one of the things is the return of the kind of forgotten descendant, I guess, of Ra's al Ghul, Damian's cousin there. So she first appeared here in the Teen Titans Rebirth #1. Again, John Boy. I like John Boy's art. So I'd say grab this even if you don't have it. I already have these, but if you can find them, I'd say grab them because a lot of these Rebirth titles are still littering cheap boxes and dollar boxes, at least out my way. So maybe you can find this one because right at the end of issue 1 of the series, you can see there, the hunt begins now, and you get right there, his little cousin there, right there, the Demon Fist. You are the Demon's Fist. So we'll see. First appearance of this character, you can't go wrong for cheap prices. For whatever reason, one sold for $12 back in March on its own. I think that's higher than I would have expected for just this single issue because you can see here asking prices are $5 for that single issue or $6 for covers A and B for the same issue. I mean, that's basically cover price even today. But like I said, these are still in dollar boxes. So I think you can go and dig this thing out of those cheap boxes if you go looking. So that's all I'd say do, just in case you find it interesting, and maybe we get more of that character to come, of Damian's little cousin there. But who knows? I got one more set of books to kind of talk about, and that's tying into the announcement of Amazon possibly picking up the live-action Voltron movie from the Red Notice director. Again, we talked about this a little bit on the Tack Show last night, but I felt like, you know what, I could still tie it into some books here for Dollar Bin Dicking. Now, we know that they're not going to be tied into the Lion Forge books because the Lion Forge books are almost like direct adaptations of the Netflix series. So they're probably not going to be doing an adaptation of the Netflix series stories if Amazon's paying for this live action movie. So they're probably going to shift it a little bit. Source material, you're not going to go back to the original first appearance in Voltron #1 because you're not going to find that for $1. It is not. So I just wanted to show it to you so you know what it looks like. I bought one of these recently because I thought it was cool. I couldn't find mine. I don't know if I ever even had this before, but now I do. So I got my Voltron one. Happy to have it in my collection. But ones you might be able to find out there in those cheap boxes are other volumes because this IP has hopped around different publishers throughout the years. And as I said, the Lion Forge stuff probably not going to tie into whatever this movie might be, but maybe the Image comic stuff does. And that starts with Image #0, and then it was like 1. I forget how long it ran for, but the first issue of it, I guess, would be the 0 issue because, that's what they used to like to do back in the day. But you can see these things are still very, very cheap. The Voltron Defenders of the Universe, April 2nd, $7. There was one right there for just that issue 0. And then you had the whole 5 issue, not five issue, but then there was a 5 issue set for issue 0 and then 1 through 4 for only $14. That sold somewhat recently, April 17th. So this thing can go for pretty cheap. I know issue 1 also has that pretty cool Jenny Frizen B cover, but you're probably not gonna find that at $1 but something to keep an eye out for, just in case. And you can see even the asking prices. Issue 0, $1.19 online right now, or the complete run from 0 to 5, about $20. So not a pricey run, not a pricey series, something you can still find in those cheap boxes if you are interested in checking out some Voltron stuff. Who knows what stories they might adapt or what kind of version. I mean, the storyline is basically the same throughout all of them, but you never know exactly what they might try to adapt. But if you're looking for some comics to tie in, these are some cheap options that you can just probably add to your pile for very few dollars, very cheap. The other one being outside of the Image volume of this, you might want to check out the Dynamite stuff. Maybe you can find the Dynamite stuff. And here you have the Voltron Year 1 is another one you can find. Some crazy prices on some of this stuff, but we'll get to that. Sold prices for this Voltron Year 1, again, makes sense. If we're getting a live action movie, maybe they start from the beginning. Maybe they go tie into this Year 1 story. It's kind of an early retelling. Maybe. Who knows? But you can see there, issues 1 through 6, the entire lot, and there are variants included in that. Some of those incentive variants for only $6. That's how cheap these things can sell for. Or trade paperback for $2 on Year 1. Or you can see the issue 1, the 1 in 10 sketch variant, $5. So that's the kind of, I couldn't even find like just issue 1 or, like this is what we're talking about. This is very cheap, even online. So you could probably find these tucked away, those quarter boxes, 50-cent boxes, dollar boxes, wherever you got your cheap books, whatever they ask for. These are the books you could probably find in there. And like I said, I like Voltron. I got my Voltron right here. I'd keep an eye out for them. Yeah, even just to check it out, just to read them at that price. Who knows if these are ever going to be more valuable than this? Because you can see they're not that valuable at all right now. Asking prices again looks like the same lot as the one that sold, $6. Apparently, that seller has multiple sets of these with the variants and some of the sketches for only $6 for 6 issues. It's $1 an issue right there, even online. Or you can buy the first issue of Year 1, $3 for the looks like the cover A, and then there's a B cover, which for some reason somebody's asking a solid $100 for it, and that's the cover I have shown here. I like it. I think it's a pretty cool cover. I don't know if it's $100 cool, but it is pretty cool. Nonetheless. But there it is. That's the only one I could find listed on eBay, and they're asking $100 for it. That could be a valid price. I don't know. I don't know how well this thing sells, because you can see I couldn't find a lot of records of things other than some of these lots and some of the variants, but I still find it a little tough to think that the B cover for issue 1 is going to be that much more expensive than the 1 in 10 incentive, which is the sketch that it's like $5. But that's the one that's out there. That's the asking price. If you want it, that's what you got to pay. So unless you find one for yourself out in those cheap boxes, which is what I'm recommending that you do. I'm not recommending you do your online shopping here. I'm just giving you the prices so you can make the determination for yourself, and just showing you what the market could and has been for some of these books. So like I said, you go check out the cheap boxes. That's more of what I'd say you do. And that's all I got for you this week. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully you like some of these picks. Hopefully you thought they were kind of interesting. Thanks for stopping by and checking this out. I appreciate you all. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like I said, like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything, all that fun stuff. Go check out the merch if you are also interested. And yeah, I'll be back as usual with some more content, more dollar bin digging next week, hidden gems, chasing ghosts, the tax show, the Star Wars show, and every other little bit in between. Maybe I'll do a pickup show sometime soon. It's been a while since I've done one of those. I don't know. Having fun doing this stuff. Hopefully you're still having fun watching. And like I said, let me know. And I will see you guys soon with some more content. Later.